Welcome to Terraform demos. In this module, I'm going to discuss and show you the demo how to create a virtual network using Terraform. In a previous module, I have explained how to set up the project, how to install required tools or the components for running the Terraform on your local system. So if you are absolutely beginner and you want to start learning Terraform, so you can watch my first video where I have discussed how to set up or basically how to create your Git repo, cloning the repo, and creating some of the required files. And if you want to learn the theoretical concept of the Terraform, you can look at some of these links which I shared in the previous video, and some of the Visual Studio extensions which are going to be helpful for running the Terraform scripts, and required Terraform downloads, and restarting your system, and also installing the command line interface for running the AZ commands, and also set up the storage account in the Azure for managing the remote state where multiple team members can work on the same state, and then actually created a resource group using the Terraform part of the series 1. I've also shared some of those topics. Let's focus on creating the Azure Virtual Network in this video. So we will be discussing how to create the resource group, so which is something we already created. We are going to use the same resource group and create the virtual network and the subnet. And this is the reference I'm using for creating the script. So this is like nicely documented in the Terraform registry portal. So you may want to look at all the documentation and required properties for more details. So let's get started creating the Terraform. So this is my project. I've already prepared the files as part of the module 1, where you will see the backend.tf file to keep all your storage account details. So you need to know what is the storage account resource group, storage account name, the container, and where your state file is going to be located. I'm using this execute.ps file, the PowerShell script handy, so that I can keep all my commands. So if you look at, I've documented some of these. So AZ login will be used for logging to the Azure portal using the Azure CLI. So if you have working with the multiple subscriptions, so you may want to make sure that set to the particular subscription so that you're not dealing with multiple subscription at the same time. So terraform.initiate file basically used for initiating your the state on the storage account. So this is the command I will be using. So basically terraform.initiate is the local state setup, and terraform.initiate with the backend is used for managing the state in the Azure storage account, so that the multiple team members can point to the same storage account. So if you, in case something went wrong during the configuration, so you can use the reconfigure. This is the command for reconfiguring your state, and then you can run the Terraform plan. Basically prepares the execution plan before actually apply those changes in the Azure, and then you will run the Terraform apply, and it will ask whether you want to run yes or no. So you can click on yes, and then some of the commands I kept in handy so that it's going to be useful. This is something you can use to verify whether the Terraform is installed on your system correctly or not, and Terraform init, which we discussed. So in case if you want to have the nice format, so you can use a Terraform FMT, which will actually format the code. And if you want to validate your syntax, make sure that if there are any syntax errors in the TF files, you can say Terraform validate. It will basically validate the configuration. And then once everything is happy, you can apply those changes. It is going to basically compare your state, the remote state, with the actual the resources during the apply. And then if you want to inspect the state, you can use Terraform show or Terraform state list, And if you want to destroy everything from that state, you can use the Terraform destroy. So these are some of the commands. I kept it in the execute.ps file so that I can use while running my commands. So main.tfs file, this is the entry point for running the Terraform. So Terraform block will be used to initiate your Terraform, where you need to provide the required version of the Terraform, and also you need to say what provider name you will be using, because Terraform is something is neutral and it supports multiple service providers. So Azure is one of them. So you need to specify what service provider you will be cloud service provider you will be working with the Terraform. And then the resource block, basically you need to specify what resource you want to create. In this case, I'm creating a resource group. So Azure RM, that's a provider name, and followed by the name of the resource you want to create. And this is something you can suffix with resource name so that you can use this as uniquely identified ID in the subsequent script. So I will talk about that more in details when it's required. The name property, the name of the resource group, location of the resource group, and the tags which we are going to use it. I hope the main.tfs tf file is clear now. And the next one is the variables. This is the place where you can configure or declare all your variables. So the variable block, you can say name of the variable, the data type, and the default value. So I'm giving the Terraform-demo. That's my resource group name. And the location I have specified is the US. And you can also write the nice description for each variable here. And then finally, the output file. This is something will be displayed as an output when you're running the Terraform commands. So let's begin with adding more resources. For example, as part of this demo, I am intended to actually create the virtual network. So let me bring the script for creating the virtual network. I've already typed, and so this is the virtual network, the script which we are going to use for creating the virtual network. You need to specify the name of the virtual network. As I mentioned, this is the Terraform provider name and the name of the resource. And this is the naming convention I'm following from the Azure portal for the resource for the virtual network. So this is the name of the virtual network, address space, and then location. So I'm using the same location as the resource group. You can have in a real scenario, you may want to have a different location or the different resource group for the virtual network. In that case, I would create another variable called virtual network resource group and virtual network location. And then you can refer those names here. And then I'm using the tags. So there are two ways to add tags. Either you can declare the tags at the resource level here itself, but I would prefer creating these custom tags in the variable. So let me update the variable now for the resource group, virtual network, and also the tags. So this is my virtual network name, so I will call it as VNet1. So I'm sure when you are giving the name of the virtual network, we will be following the company naming conventions. And then let me also bring the custom tags. So this is a variable for custom tags, name of the variable, and you need to use the data type like map any of these. So this is basically going to use the array of items. So I will have the business unit, I will have the application name, cost center, environment, and the owner. So these are some of the custom tags which I'm going to use in my virtual network. So I'm saying the var.custom tags, which is my name of the variable. So in the next step, what I need is the subnet. So let me add the subnet script. So this is the subnet Terraform script. So I'm again reading the name of the subnet from a variable. So let me update the variable for the subnet also. So if I go to the variable, I can add my subnet and the name of the subnet. So I'm going to use this for the VNet. So in the next module, next demo, I'm going to create the virtual VNet VM virtual machine. So this subnet is created for the virtual machine. So let me use the subnet here, and I'm giving the name of the resource group, virtual network name, and also the address prefix used for this subnet. Okay, so my virtual network and the subnet both are ready. As I mentioned, I'm using these naming conventions. Now I would like to print these in the output. So as for my previous demo, so I'm printing only the resource group. Now let me print the virtual network. So this is how the syntax for output the name of the resources while running the Terraform script. So I will be, you can have the description, and this is the name of the VNet, virtual network.vnet, and the name. So this is how I can read the name of the virtual network, and this is how I can read the name of the subnet. So let's get started. So the first command I'm going to run is az login. So this will pop up for asking the credentials. So since I've already entered my credentials, so it is showing the existing credentials. So once it is connected, so we'll be able to see the subscription details. So in case if you have dealing with the multiple subscriptions, so you may want to set the required subscription. For example, in my case, I have only one subscription, but still I can set the subscription which I want to work with. So this is my name of the subscription I want to work with. And the next command I'm going to run is the initiate command, so that this will initiate the required Terraform configuration and required Terraform state. So as soon as I click on the Terraform initiate, you might have noticed that the .terraform file has been added, and this is will say the provider name along with the actual exe file. So that is about the initiate, and since I have the initiate working, so the next command I'm going to run is the Terraform plan, which will basically create the execution plan. Meaning before running, I think I'm dealing with some errors. So let me see what that error is. The reference undeclared input variable. Okay, so looks like the script was, the file was not saved. So let me run Terraform plan again so that it creates the execution plan. Okay, so Terraform plan executed, and it is saying there are 3 getting added, no changes, no destroys. So here is the output for the subnet and the virtual network and the resource group name. So let me add next command. So I'm going to apply Terraform. So this basically apply the changes in the Azure. So I'm creating the resource group along with the virtual network and the subnet. So in the next videos, probably I can demo how to use the existing resources instead of creating them. In case if virtual network need to be created on the existing resource group, so that will be a different way of doing that. So instead of resource, we need to say data. So the data block basically, so let me run this first. Data block basically used for referring the existing resources. So in that case, we need to use the data dot, the name of the resource group. So that is something we can discuss that. Now I'm executing these resources in the Azure. So let's take a look at this in the portal. So once you log into the portal, let me see if my resource group is created. So sometimes this takes some time. So let's see if it is still creating. So resource group is still creating. Subnet is also getting created in parallel. Now I see that these resources are created. So let's go back, refresh. So this is the resource group, and I should be having this virtual network. And in the virtual network, I should be having the subnet. So in the virtual network, I have also given the tags. These are the tags. So if I want to change any of these, for example, and rerun again. So let me say, if I decided to change the environment to test, so I change the environment variable, then I need to say Terraform. So the first one I can say format in case any of your changes before you commit your changes to the Git repo, or you can run the Terraform format, Terraform validate to validate the script configuration, and then you can say Terraform plan, preparing the execution plan, which basically comparing the existing the state with the existing resources. So my state has the dev. When it creates the execution plan, this will show that there is a change in the existing state, and it will also mention the exact place where the changes are happening as part of the Terraform plan. So you see these are the changes. It is getting changed from dev to test. And then the last command I'm going to run is Terraform apply. This is the runtime. I would say it will basically run these resources in the actual environment. So sometimes you may also get exceptions or errors during the runtime when you apply Terraform.apply. So that is something you will have to deal with fixing the runtime errors. So this time only one resource getting changed, and it will ask whether you want to run this. I will say yes. So since this is only updating the existing one, it should not take the same time as the first time. So this is still running. Now this is completed. So if I go and refresh, so I should be able to see the environment test and the VNet, and I think I've also done the same changes in the, okay, so I'm not done. So that's all for this video. I'm going to continue in the next module. I will be discussing how to create a virtual machine using Terraform, the Linux virtual machine. So here is my agenda. So I'm right now working on the module 2. I will continue working on the rest of the modules. Thank you.